Joudar stayed for a while, hiding among the bushes, waiting. Then the swans came at their appointed time and landed not far from him. They took off their feathers and became girls. Then they entered the lake, playing, dancing, and singing. While they were unaware, Joudar approached and took the intended feather garment. Then he returned to the palace and hid the feathers. He returned to his place and waited until the jinn girls finished having fun. The girls went to their feather clothes and then put them on. He flew towards the moon. The girl kept searching for her feathers, terrified. Joudar came out of his hiding place. The girl saw him and her fear increased, so Joudar reassured her, saying,
"Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you."
The girl asked timidly,
"Didn't you see a feather garment here, sir?"
Joudar replied,
"Yes, I saw him. Actually, I was the one who took it."
The girl said as she started to get angry.
"Why did you take him? Give it back to me right now."
Joudar replied,
"I cannot. Since I saw you, my heart has not stopped beating strongly. And my mind does not think of anyone but you. You took my soul from me. Return it to me and I will return your feathers to you."
The girl said,
"How do I restore your soul to you? Are you crazy?"
Joudar replied,
"You can. By marrying me."
The girl said angry,
"Shall I marry you? You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Give me back my feathers and I will forget what happened."
The argument continued between them. Sometimes the girl cries and begs for his sympathy. Sometimes she gets angry and revolts. But Joudar did not return her feathers. He invited her to enter the palace and continued to entertain her and talk to her until she submitted and was certain that he was determined to marry her. And the little fairies returned, and Joudar introduced them to the princess. Her name was Malik. And the fairies rejoiced in the rye. But Malik said to them,
"So you are the ones who told him our secret? How did you do this, you traitors?"
The little fairy answered her kindly,
"Your Majesty, Joudar is a good young man. He was able to kill the evil magician Hassan. And I think he's a lucky man."
Malik agreed to marry Joudar. Months later, she gave birth to him a son. As if it was the full moon. Joudar held his son in his hands, with tears of joy in his eyes. He remembered his mother and how happy she would have been if she had known that he had a son. So he told the fairies that he was intending to return to his home. The fairies were very sad, but Joudar promised to visit them. The fairies prepared a carriage for Joudar and filled it with jewels and gold. So Joudar thanked them for their generosity, bid them farewell, and headed to his house with his wife. Joudar arrived home and found his mother drowning in great sadness. When she saw him, she was happy and embraced him, crying, and began kissing him, not believing that he was fine and standing in front of her. Joudar introduced his mother to his wife, Malik. Then he told her everything that had happened to him since he left the house. Then he told her that they must leave to a place where no one knows them, so that people do not wonder about the reason for their sudden wealth, and so that they do not know his wife's secret. Joudar searched for a palace far from the eyes of people. And he, his wife, and his mother moved too. They lived there with a maid and a male servant. After a period of time, Joudar told his mother that he would go to visit the fairies, because they were of great help to him. He warned his mother not to allow his wife to leave the palace. No matter what happens, she must not know the location of her own feathers. Joudar went to the fairies' palace after buying some items for them, including ceramics, furniture, and other handicrafts. After a while, Malik told Joudar's mother that she wanted to go to the bathroom, because she wants to take care of herself for Joudar's sake. But the mother refused, because her son warned her against his wife going out. And Malik continued to deceive her and seek her sympathy. She told her that she had not cleaned herself well for a long time. They should not tell her husband that she went out. The mother reluctantly agreed and went with her daughter-in-law to the village bath. When they entered and Malik took off her clothes, her body began to shine with light. All the women who were in the bathroom were amazed. Among them is the queen's maid of honor. The queen in that country was proud that there was no woman more beautiful than her. So the maid went out quickly and returned to her queen and told her what she had seen. So the queen ordered the guards to accompany the maid and bring her the woman, because she wants to make sure for herself. The guards went to the bathroom and asked Malik to come with them. She agreed while Joudar's mother was crying and begging them to leave her daughter-in-law. But they pushed her away. Malik arrived to the queen, who was impressed by Malik's beauty. However, she does not think that she is more beautiful than her. Malik smiled and revealed part of her body. The queen was astonished by the light that radiated from her. So Malik told her that her beauty is not complete unless she wears a feather dress. The queen asked her about his whereabouts, and she told her that Joudar's mother knew his whereabouts. Joudar's mother refused to tell her, so she threatened her that she would torture her, so she told them. So the queen ordered the guards to bring her clothes, and they did. As soon as the angel put on the feathers that belonged to her, she turned into a swan. She carried her son between her legs and flew away, to the amazement of the audience. Joudar's mother began screaming and crying, asking the queen to return her daughter-in-law. The queen ordered the guards to expel her from the courtyard. So the poor woman returned to her old home, sad and disappointed. Meanwhile, Joder was sleeping in the fairy palace. He dreamed of a grave in his old house, with his mother's name written on it. Then he woke up terrified and told the fairies about his dream. He asked them for permission to return to his house, because he felt that something bad had happened.